This channel is proudly partnered with the What the Funk shop. Please check out their store for all sorts of products. They have miniatures, accessories, Game Master screens, home decorations, and many other things. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. And make sure that you use my code for a special discount. This channel is proudly sponsored by Dead Tree Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop RPG where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released the Whispers of Copperridge adventure module. You will find the links in the description and in the pinned comment. Hi, welcome to this review of GoGoGolf. In this tabletop RPG, you play as golfers. You use the power of golf to solve many situations, conquer many dangerous sights, and it is obviously video game inspired. Now let's talk about the quality of the PDF. First criticisms: it has no bookmarks and no hyperlinks. However, it's only 16 pages long, so it won't be an obstacle when navigating the PDF. Everything else is great. Everything is well written, organized, explained, with awesome looking illustrations, although they look a bit pixelated or blurry if you zoom in too much. Now I have to say, this document has some of the best explanations when it comes to roleplay and rules. It even surpasses Cloudbreaker Alliance because Cloudbreaker Alliance has great mechanical explanations, but the roleplay explanations are pretty lackluster. But not so in the case of GoGoGolf. However, sadly, the roleplay example is pretty lame. Player: I want to jump this gap. Game Master: okay, give me a speed check. In the roleplay explanation in this very document, it is said that the Game Master presents a situation. The player interacts with that situation through the player character as the player character, describing that player character's action. The dice are rolled perhaps, and then the Game Master describes what happens. The player is not describing what the character wants or what the player wants. The player is not telling the Game Master, having a conversation with the Game Master about what he or she wants. No, you just describe the action of your player character. That's it, because the Game Master and the player do not exist in the fiction. So, good roleplay explanation, but terrible example. Everything about the document, everything else is good. So overall the quality is good. Now let's talk about the contents. The book starts with an immediate quick reference to all of the rules that you will need during a session. So this is great. All of the system is contained in a single quick reference sheet. Now, how do you play this tabletop RPG? Like I said, excellent explanation. The Game Master presents a challenge, a situation, an encounter, an obstacle, etc. and the players interact with it, describing what their characters do or what they attempt. And then maybe you need to roll dice and the Game Master will tell you the outcome of that result. Now, character creation is very simple. You come up with a name for your character. A character starts with 3 hearts, each made up of 4 heart pieces or HP. When a character loses all of their HP, it's game over. That player makes a new character. Any lost hit points, or rather heart pieces, get restored between adventures. The 3 stats in GoGoGolf each have a rank from 1 to 5 to denote how good your character is at certain things. A higher rank means a greater level of skill. These stats are pretty self-explanatory: strength, speed, and wit. That's it. Every single check in the game is handled through one of those stats. You can spend a number of points on each stat, and you can only reach a maximum of 5 in each stat. When it comes to MPs, or magic points, they derive from your wit. That is, your character's maximum MP is the same as your wit. In this game, specific golf clubs have magical effects attached to them, so if you want to cast spells through your club, you need to spend these MPs, and the MPs replenish between adventures. The book comes with pre-generated characters if you want to get started right away, and each one has his or her own background history, so that's great. And there is a bit of world building in there too. Maybe you can use those background details to flesh out some sort of campaign world. Now, how do you handle checks? When the character attempts something and the outcome is uncertain, the player rolls 2 6-sided dice. If each of the dice rolls equal to or below the rank of a particular stat related to the check, then it's a perfect success. If only one of the dice is a success, then it's an okay result. You are successful but with a complication. If no dice is successful, then it's a failure and something really bad is going to happen. So how do you make attacks in this game? You use your golf club, of course. If the enemy is too far away, you're going to be attacking that enemy with the golf ball. But perhaps if the enemy is too close, you're going to be using your club directly. You roll 2 6-sided dice, you add your strength rank, and if you roll above the monster's level, then it's a success and you deal damage. It's a fixed amount of damage. So if it's a level 8 monster and you roll 8, it's a failure, you need to roll 9 or above. And what about critical hits? Because some of you could be thinking, wait a minute, then strength is the most important stat in this game. If the result of a swing is exactly the same as that swing's target, the swing is considered a critical hit. So in the case of the level 8 monster, you need a 9 or above. If you roll a 9, exactly a 9, then it's a critical hit and it deals double damage. A player may use precision to alter the result of a swing in order to get a critical hit. This is where speed comes into play. To use precision, the player subtracts a number from the roll's result equal to or less than the character's speed rank. There is also putting. Sometimes a player might want a very low result from a swing. Instead of making a normal swing, a player may choose to putt. To putt, the player rolls 1 die instead of 2 and doesn't add their strength rank. You can still use precision on a putt if you'd like. And why would you want to do this? Maybe you are fighting some weak enemies, perhaps of a level 4 or something, and if you roll 2 dice, you're not going to be critting that enemy. Maybe you want to achieve a critical hit, then it's better to use putting against that enemy so that you get a better chance of inflicting a critical hit and eliminating that weaker enemy immediately. And of course, perhaps you are making your swing against another target. Maybe you are actually playing golf. Maybe you are fighting enemies and playing golf at the same time. So the target numbers for those stationary targets are going to be fixed and are going to vary depending on the target. Now when it comes to golf clubs, each one of them is magical. Your character starts with a magical golf club. You have things such as the tree club, which manipulates nature and growth, the ice club that is able to manipulate ice, the fire club that conjures up fire and flames. But it is important to notice that these effects cannot affect combat. They are for subtle things. In the case of the fire club, this is for lighting up dark places or sending signals. In the case of the ice club, this is about creating surfaces of ice or freezing nearby liquid. So it's important to have a session 0 to talk about the over-the-topness of the different effects and how they can be employed. Perhaps in a particular game group, they make it so that the ice club is able to produce a barrier of ice the size of a 2-story building. But perhaps another gaming group made it so that the ice club is able to produce barriers the size of a door or a car. So it depends. Either way, you can always handle things through roleplay. If the player describes some sort of effect that goes way above the scope or the level of power when it comes to magic in the game master can describe something like, as your intention to create a huge ice wall manifests, the ice is not able to cover the entire area, reaching only about the size of a door. Now when it comes to combat is very simple, intuitive, and quite organic. There is no set way of determining initiative, it is all based on context. Each player character takes a turn. They can make a check depending on their actions. Maybe they want to attack the enemy directly by swinging their golf clubs. Or maybe they want to cast a spell. Remember, these spells are not to affect the enemy directly through damage. They are used to distract, to present some advantages in combat or even outside of combat. And after each player character takes his or her own action, one of the enemies is going to attack or take action. And the attacks enacted by the enemies are automatic. They are automatic successes. They deal their damage. So that's why it's very important for the player characters to eliminate their enemies as soon as possible. That's why they always win initiative. They have that advantage, but also the disadvantage that the enemies are going to hurt them automatically. The game includes all sorts of enemies such as oozes, skeletons, spike sluts, strange looking guardian constructs, and the dreaded behemoths. The enemies vary in power levels, and some of them are quite different in their effects. That is, perhaps an enemy could poison you, making you lose 1 HP each round. Some of the enemies have weak points, and others can even cast spells, so it all depends on the type of enemy that you are confronting. And this concludes this review. What do I think about GoGoGolf? There is a bit of a contradiction in this tabletop RPG. You have some amazing rules and roleplay related explanations. But putting aside the lackluster example, there is no information on how to run a game, so it has information that is vital for a beginner in tabletop RPGs. But you have no game master section, no tips or details on how to build dungeons, adventure sites, on how to play golf. The aspect of the game of golf itself is completely lacking in this document. There are no rules to play golf. So it would have been great if you had rules to have this sort of golf course filled with enemies, but you have to think about that on your own. But everything else is amazing. The combat system is very easy, intuitive, organic. The way that you carry out checks, it's quite fun. The way that precision, that is the influence of speed over strength, is also quite noticeable. Now when it comes to magic, this is a bit more loose than other tabletop RPG systems. In fact, many things about this game require you to actually roleplay and handle things in fiction. There are many outcomes, situations, unexpected occurrences that will happen during your adventures that are not covered by the rules. So it is expected that the group handles those situations through roleplay. I would highly recommend this tabletop RPG for those of you that are already familiar with tabletop role-playing games. But for complete beginners, you definitely need to research how to run a tabletop RPG elsewhere. Because although this document contains great explanations concerning the mechanics and the roleplay itself, it is lacking in that game master section telling you how to actually run a session. So keep that in mind. Still, I highly recommend it. Thank you for watching this review. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member or using the super thanks button. You can also check out the pinned comment below. This has been Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. I am currently unavailable for professional sessions, but I will put my contact information in the description and in the pinned comment for when I am available again. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you and see you later.